Is this movie going to get The Rock his first Oscar nomination and potentially even a win? Let's find out. This is where I watch movies without knowing the runtime and count how many times I check my phone or my watch to see if a movie's gas or ass. This is a Pocket Watch review, and today I'm watching The Smashing Machine. I don't know too much about UFC or the story of Mark Kerr. I hope he doesn't have a son named Nick. That would be unfortunate. But yeah, it's nice because I'm pretty much going blind into this. I do know, though, this is Benny Safdie's first movie without his brother Josh, so let's see if he can bring the juice.
Juice is temporary.
And Josh has a movie coming out later this year, Marty Supreme, with Timothée Chalamet, which also has a lot of Oscar buzz surrounding it. I guess we'll really get a chance to see who's off to a better solo start. Do you guys know if they had a falling out? I saw some rumors of that, but I wasn't sure if it was personal or just like creative differences and trying to see what they could do on their own. To be honest, it was probably a mix of both, but who really knows at the end of the day. I just know that I've liked all of their movies so far, outside of Benny Safdie's performance in Happy Gilmore 2, which I thought was awful. But it baffles me that the Best Actor category will likely have Leo, Daniel Day-Lewis, Timothée Chalamet, Jeremy Allen White, and also The Rock. I know none of these are locks, but there is a general narrative that it's going to be some combination of those guys, and I find that so funny. You have the critically acclaimed vets of the industry, and then you have the established but still rising stars of the current generation, and then somewhere in the mix, you potentially have The Rock. But anyways, let's get to the Pocket Watch predictions for this movie. I'm predicting the runtime of this movie is going to be 2 hours, 15 minutes. It's a biopic, so I think it'll be on the longer side, and I'm not going to lie, I haven't been a huge fan of biopics in the past. I'm also predicting I'm only going to check my watch once during this movie. See how it goes. Off to the movie.
We come to this place for magic.
Back from the movie, and it definitely earned its name. A lot of things were smashed. I predicted this movie would have a runtime of 2 hours, 15 minutes, and it ended up having a runtime of 2 hours, 3 minutes. I also predicted I would only check the time once during this movie, but I was wrong. There ended up being 2 Pocket Watch checks. I checked once at the hour mark midway through the movie, mainly because I was confused at where exactly this movie was going. And I'm sad to say it only took me another 20 minutes to check the time again when the inevitable training montage happened. The only reason I checked then is because usually training montages get me pretty hyped and excited, and for some reason, this didn't do its job. Maybe it's because they used Elvis singing My Way as the montage music. I don't know. The score and the soundtrack felt all over the place, to be honest with you. It seemed like it wanted to be this like anxiety-inducing jazz music, but it just didn't feel cohesive with the rest of the movie. There was a lot about this movie that wasn't cohesive, but I could kind of see the vision Benny Safdie had and the story that he was trying to tell. There was definitely some good cinematography throughout this movie, but it did seem like Benny was like, oh, I want this cool shot of them at the fair with this cool lighting, or I want this cool shot of them walking in Japan. And everything else was kind of built around that. It was weird. It felt like at certain times things were just dull and kind of flat, and at other times it felt like things were too heavy-handed. I think the script was the biggest detriment to this movie, honestly, and maybe that's why Ryan Bader's Mark Coleman character was also a bit one-dimensional to me. And I don't think that's Ryan's fault. It is his first movie, but I think that's just how that character was written. The main acting performances, though, come from Emily Blunt and obviously Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Oh, that reminds me. How does The Rock go pee? He Dwayne's as Johnson. It's a Jungle Cruise reunion. Emily Blunt looked great and her acting was pretty solid. But again, any issues I had with their character mainly came from the plot. It just felt like every time she showed up or disappeared, it just very disjointed with the rest of the movie. And The Rock was solid from end to end. They did a really good job with the prosthetics. I think they even hooked him up with some cauliflower ear. It looked great. I think this movie's a lock for a makeup and prosthetics nomination, and it'll probably win, I think. But a lot of the Oscar buzz around the Best Acting nom, I think, comes from his surprisingly good or even unexpected performance. I will say, though, I think the Oscar buzz is also partially due to Mark Kerr's story being someone who never lost, and they finally lose and have to deal with the repercussions that come with that. And it's cool to see The Rock playing him because he's someone known for having contracts stating that he can't lose a fight in a movie. So this shows he's willing to lose a fight, open up, and actually act. He definitely gave a good acting performance. I'm hesitant to say that it was great, but I could maybe be convinced that it was on a rewatch. We'll have to see. But I definitely don't think it was an Oscar-winning performance, although if you compare it to his past few roles, it might feel like it was. One non-script related gripe I had, maybe it was just me, but I felt like there weren't enough fight scenes and the choreography in general was just a bit lacking for a UFC-related movie. And maybe that's just because this movie was more narrative driven than fight focused. Overall, this movie was cool though. I got to learn how much of an influence Japan had on UFC at its early stage and how Mark Coleman and Mark Kerr were the true pioneers of the sport and making it big as it is now. But as a whole, unfortunately, I still have to give this movie a 2.5 out of 5. That's a wrap.